In theological terms, the study of the doctrine of the church is called ecclesiology. The question is, what is the church? The church is saved, regenerated believers in Jesus Christ, called out by God according to his purpose. Ephesians chapter 1, 3-10. As such, the local church is a congregation of born-again believers who collectively meet to worship, develop, and use their spiritual gifts for the perfecting of the body and edifying of the saints. Ephesians chapter 4, 11-12. It is within that body all functions and operations are to be done only by the saved, not the unregenerate. The church of Laodicea started out good, as was identified by Paul in Colossians 4:16. Apparently, Paul had written a letter to that church, which he also wanted to send to the other churches. We have no idea of the content of the Laodicean epistle, but it seems that the church was in good standing then. Yet by the turn of the century, something went wrong, for God wanted to spit them out of his mouth. Some have suggested that the church had degenerated so badly to the point no genuine believers were in the church, or if there were, it was only an anemic few. Is this possible? Yes. We are seeing it in our society, where we have the unsaved who do not have any relationship with Christ admittedly say that they are not born again believers, but they run and manage the churches. How can this be? Simple. When the church feel like it is more important to have a ministry geared to meet the physical needs of the people more so than their spiritual needs, or an influential or a wealthy person given prominence in the church because of what they have contributed and because of their influence, before finding out their spiritual conditions. Look out! Satan's reign has just begun. Nothing is wrong with tending to the physical needs of members, but it is a means to an end, the salvation and growth of the soul, to which the unregenerate person cannot even aspire to understand. As such, when there are not enough qualified believers to do the job, we select what we have, quote unquote. After a time, the what we have become the not so sure Christians. Then the unsaved start to run the church. By and by, the ministry we created becomes Satan's seat to assert his reign in the church. At that point, it becomes acceptable for the church to choose the unsaved to fill ministry roles. Before we know it, the iffies become the majorities, then the true believers depart. Then all hope is lost. Then the church ceased to be a church and has become a religious club. Now we have a Laodicean church, neither hot nor cold, to the point of nauseam, and God has no choice but to vomit them out of his mouth. God no longer dwells in the midst of the congregation, but he stands outside, because those in the inside are so spiritually dead that they cannot discern the knock of God on their hearts, and they are so spiritually deaf that they cannot hear his voice. The main point is, it will do us well as leaders to understand that the church is made up of God's elected ones and not man's appointed ones. Let us not give Satan 1 inch to set up shop in God's church, to which he has appointed us stewards. This is the main point with Pastor Dixon. If you enjoy messages such as this, please remember to like, subscribe, and tell a friend about our YouTube channel. Thank you for listening to The Main Point with Pastor Dixon. Until next time, may the Lord's blessings be with you.
The Main Point is a daily podcast designed to teach theological truth and issues affecting the church in a Caribbean context. The Main Point is a ministry of Central Truth and Hats Inc. Copyrights reserved.